Delvers 3, here we go. Welcome back. How's it going? It's the third episode. It's officially a trilogy now.
It is?
Yep. This is the last episode, too. You know,
wow,
make it count.
What a journey
you're putting
it's
a lot
been,
of pressure on us then to really just kind of land this baby home.
Yeah, just take it home, and then we're gonna go play Horizons of the Vast mixed with Threefold Conspiracy mixed with Dawn of Flame.
Oh, just kill me now. Just kill me now.
That's literally impossible. You can't.
No. See, it's three different parties all operating at the same time. That's going to build into like a big super climax.
Awful. Yeah, that would be so much of a pain in the ass.
You need to make sure that all your characters are very different too.
Yeah,
like you can't play two of the same class.
Right.
You can't have two of the same accents.
No. That's the challenge mode. You actually have to play the same class in all three adventures, but they have to have wildly different accents.
Yeah.
All right, things are about to get silly.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed hanging out here on this show. It's been a lot of fun. Man.
See you guys all live and let fly. I'm out.
Yeah.
No, what I wanted to talk about today is that, in the opening episodes, your characters were basically bestowed with their superpowers as they went through the drift, right? I want to ask you guys, like, if you could have the same thing happen to you, like what superpowers would you want, or do you think that you would have manifest? That's like two different answers maybe, right? There's the one you want, and then there's like the one that makes sense, gets heightened. It's like something you might already be good at or, have in you that becomes super, So that's my banter topic.
All right,
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and start that then.
Go for it, John.
So I would probably pick from Chronicle. There's a movie back in Google.
No,
2012. 2012. Yeah. Okay. So it's basically just telekinesis, really.
Okay.
Just gives you the ability to fly and move shit. So
telekinesis is pretty good because it is broad like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that is like would be an inherent thing in you though that got like manifested?
I mean, I don't know how else it would be. To be honest with you, I mean, what do you mean inherent? Like, can you clarify? Do you consider yourself a very mindful person? Are you very like cerebral as a person? Is that the part of you that would get supered, that would become stronger? Because like in the drift, I think
your characters in the drift had things that were like personal to them manifested into a superpower, right? So it wasn't just like randomized, like this is a cool power, I get it. It's like I've spent my life doing this, or I have this inherent thing with me and this manifested. Do you think telekinesis works for you in that regard?
So I don't think that it's more cerebral. In fact, I think telekinesis is more instinctual than it is anything. I think
literally using your brain to manipulate your environment, right? That's pretty cerebral, bro.
That's intelligence, not wisdom.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. All right. Okay. Put it in that context. Yeah. Then that would require absolute mental discipline. You'd have to be able to do that would require practice, without a doubt.
I mean, in Starfinder terms, I think a lot of the psychics are wisdom casters.
Yeah, but like telekinetic
but in real life, I feel like
as a technomancer spell. You know what I mean?
I'd have to disagree with you.
But
because if your telekinesis is kind of like an extension of your own body, you don't really think about moving your arms. And in the hit movie
tell me
Chronicle,
how you. Right. So when you think of a master telekineticist, if that's the right word, telekinesian, I don't know. How would you animate their movements when they're using their power? How is that typically presented?
It's like moving your hands around, like
it's not somebody putting their hand to their head and big rings coming off their
No,
forehead?
I mean,
Telepathy,
that's Scanners right there, dude.
Yeah.
That's the movie The Scanners.
I mean, it depends. Like, there's been lots of media that have done different takes on those tropes, and I can see it either way. Like, I can see a very, like, Pathfinder sorcerer, like, instinct, inborn, like, moments of stress allow you to have this ability out of nowhere, and you just start flailing shit around with your mind. Like,
yeah, that's
I'm just saying, like, I could think this can go either way. Or you could be fucking Yoda and be, like, a massively disciplined Jedi master who uses telekinesis. Like, I don't think there's an either or.
In terms of, I think it's somatic components for a spell, right? That's what the physical, like what your physical actions, right?
Yeah.
There's two. There's two different ones. Adam is correct, and Dustin is correct. There's two. There's only two, and it's the same every time. It's either hand to the temple, okay, or it's hand out front manipulating the object.
Like 11.
Yeah.
You know, or some shit.
There's only two. It's one or the other. Nobody
do you think that the blood from Eleven's nose is coming from a heart hemorrhage or a brain hemorrhage?
I mean, that's
got him.
I don't think it's either.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's either.
Didn't get him.
Consider this solved.
That's just a capillary hemorrhage.
All right, yeah, let's move on to Heath. What would your superpower be?
My chosen superpower? Probably teleportation.
Okay.
I would like to never have to unnecessarily get bogged down in the act of traveling again. You know, just like wherever I want to be, boom.
Fresh off of Gen Con, we're going to go with teleportation.
Well, also, like, I have a 40-minute commute to work every day.
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
like, if I could just roll my ass out of bed, take a shower, piddle around until 2 minutes before I need to be there, and then be like, okay, boom, I'm at work now.
Just apparating.
That would be so great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, totally.
I would read a lot less audiobooks if that were the case.
That is very true.
Right. Yeah.
That time
But-
is spent time, you know, like...
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I just read the audiobooks in the morning doing things that I enjoy instead of driving 40 minutes to work, you know?
I feel like reading this book in Paris. Bloop. You know?
Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, teleporting, like... Not only is like travel restrictive based on your financial situation, you know, like that, like not only is the time spent shitty, but like, you know, like it's expensive to go to Europe or to go to Australia or Asia or whatever. And like, if I could just show up, now we get into the legality of it, it turns into a whole thing. But if I was the only one that had it and world governments weren't
how are they going to hold you?
Yeah, exactly.
Anywhere?
yeah, nothing they can do
Yeah.
about it. But if we're thinking like full X-Men style, like 1 million people start getting powers, then there's going to be a whole kerfuffle about it. But if it's like in a vacuum, just me, like Heath Parker, just suddenly I can teleport places, like, oh, my life's about to change. Like, first of all, I'm going to do crimes. I'm going to go steal a lot of stuff because I've been poor my whole life, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to rob a bank. Like, I'm going to see how it goes.
Can't catch me, motherfucker!
Yeah, what are they going to
No.
do? Arrest me? I'll poof out of there.
What about, do you feel like you have an inherent skill that would be turned into a superpower?
I don't know. That's the
That's a tougher
two. That's
question.
the question that I'm like, I don't. Well, I whatever your answer is, I think you're blowing smoke up your own ass, right?
Well, yeah,
like
I'm
none of
giving you
us
an
have
opportunity to, like,
none of us
you know.
have anything related to a superpower. Like we have
I do.
opinions about ourselves. You know,
I think
do.
you'd have like the gift of gab. You'd be able to understand all languages and speak them.
that would be very
pretty
cool.
tight.
Like being a Tower of Babel myself. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Totally.
I like that one. Thank you, Dustin. That's really
You're
good.
welcome.
If I could just
Universal
like
translator. You know?
Yeah, if I manifested a because I'm trying to like learn Spanish and stuff right now, thanks to some inspiration from Zach. Yeah, that would be really neat if I could just like, even if it wasn't like instantaneous, but if I could like very quickly pick up other languages regardless of the language, that would be a really neat one.
Yeah.
Dude, it'd save you a lot of fucking time, dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Totally.
And now if I
Teleporting,
could
already know
get
the
both, if I could
teleportation
teleport
and the instant
and-
language learning,
yes, I would
dude.
go, I'd be a world
Think about all the
traveler.
free time.
I would be the most
That's a broke
renowned
build
and
right there,
educated bank robber of all time. You know,
Dude, you could live a good fucking life. I'll tell you that, man. Like,
Yeah,
definitely,
totally. You could
definitely,
crush it.
Yeah, I'm with
Oh
it.
man.
Zach,
All right,
what about you?
I won't take too long. Okay, so I'm not going to cop John's telekinesis, but I do want to say that my choice for what power I want is going to be flight, right? But given that you could, if your telekinesis worked in a way that allowed you to move your own body, now a lot of telekinesis, you can't manipulate your own, self, right? But others, if you could have telekinesis that made you fly, it's particularly better. Barring that, just straight up flight, right? I just and it honestly, teleportation's really good, and I would use flight for a lot of the same reasons. But I like the act of flying. You know what I mean? Like I'll
just go ahead and get our hotel room booked. You get there when you get there. I've
had so many flying dreams in my life that I'm like, man, I really want to do that shit. Like if I had like less of a sense of danger, then I would probably do some stupid ass like wingsuit shit. If I'd gotten into that shit when I was young and in better shape, you know what I mean? Like that looks fun as hell, right? But flight is the power that I would want. I want to fly. In terms of what I think would actually be a realistic thing that would develop, I think like some sort of preternatural intuition, spidey sense style. Because I think that I do have a very strong natural intuition, and I think that if anything would heighten as a result of some kind of crazy thing, it would be that. You know what I'm saying? A spidey sense style
Totally.
thing. Those are my answers.
I think those are both valid and correct.
I can tell that I've gotten a lot older because now my answer is teleportation. Because I'm an old person and just don't want to commute. But like also with all the like surgeries and stuff I've had, my other go-to would be just regeneration, like Wolverine style. Like if my body could just heal from anything, God, it would be nice.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think y'all probably gonna shit on this because it is overpowered, but I've thought about it a lot.
I think I know.
Here we go.
Think we discussed it.
Okay, Dr. Manhattan, here we go.
Basically, reality manipulation.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
What can I do,
Yeah.
If I could be an X-Men, I would be God. That's the one I would choose.
Pretty much, yeah. Like Molecule Man or what is his name? Son of Reed Richards. He's basically got reality manipulation. He could create life. He could create galaxies. And
that is OP.
Yeah, it's OP.
That's fucking Dr. Manhattan.
You didn't set any boundaries here, man.
Yeah,
so.
but like, how about
I try to be
localized
conservative in my superpower wish.
We're just small. We're just thinking small.
Because that's so OP, you don't get to answer the second part of the question. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. What would manifest in you?
Probably like technopathy.
Yeah.
Ability to just control all
technopathy. Oh, dude.
I don't know if this has ever been brought up on any of the shows that you've been on, Dustin, but Dustin has an aura that fixes technology.
This has been brought up, yeah.
Not with Dustin, though, on the call.
Dustin wasn't actually there. We were just talking about you,
Yeah, this is, I mean, we were pointing this out back in college, I think. This is well established. I felt
very stupid multiple times when I was having a significant problem with my computer I could not fix, and Dustin came and changed nothing and just went to like open my settings or something. It was like, all right, there's nothing wrong here. Like, I'm not crazy. I promise. There was something wrong here.
It just happens. I've even seen it, and I'm like,
I can confirm that.
Yeah.
Like it's a truth.
It's gotten to the point I just walk in and say, "Try it now." And
all right, I'm here. Try it now.
But now you're not allowed to leave is the thing, because I need my computer to keep running.
For me, I think like the superpower that I would want to have would be like it's a little OP, similar to Dustin's, but not quite so OP, is time manipulation. Like, I would like to have the ability to, like, slow down time so I can get more done.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, if you could just be Dr. Manhattan, you could make 12 of yourself, and then they could all do the other stuff.
But I'm trying to keep it real here, bro.
Time travel. being conservative with my superpowers.
So not time travel, because I don't want any hounds of Tindalos on my ass. I just mean like time manipulation. Could speed or slow up time. Like I can't not to the extent of like time travel. But like
you don't want to go back or forwards.
Yeah, I
You
just
want
want
to like expand.
expand
Make
or
it
shrink.
Control the flow.
Yeah.
You want
right.
that remote from Click with Adam
Yeah,
Sandler.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
That movie ends as a tragedy, I'll have
I
it.
know. I think what would manifest in me is that I would become an empath, like a true empath. That I could read people's like feelings and emotions, and
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, I like that.
See it.
that.
I'm just imagining you playing on stage, and maybe you see emotions as like colors, and you can feel
Yeah,
the vibe
well,
of
That
the
would be
crowd.
synesthesia.
Yeah.
music as colors is synesthesia.
Yeah.
Emotions
Yeah.
as colors is a different thing, but
Is it? I thought synesthesia was any kind of
it's
Yeah.
it's
not
like
specifically music.
Synesthesia
Well,
is a
sound.
broader term that means
Yeah.
the crossing of senses
Two
to
senses,
of
represent.
senses,
Right.
but like emotion
Audio,
isn't
visual.
considered one of those senses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it should be. I do think it should be, but it's not. It's not considered one of the five senses, right? I did consider like bardic type stuff, like that the music would have like, enhanced effects on people that I could like, hypnotize people with music or heal people with music, that kind of thing. But like, I think if I'm being more honest with myself, the between my emotional vampirism and my actual empathy, like I think that would be where
More
my
likely to-
the
yeah.
superpowers would manifest. Yeah,
I like that. I'm with that.
For real.
Yeah, so, all that being said, your brand new PCs just went through a real serious situation in which that they probably aren't even fully realized themselves what's happened to them. There hasn't been time to like process because, you were just minding your business on your way to this anomalous drift beacon that's floating around Absalom Station to do some research, and you got yanked out of the drift by some pirates. And through this like strange coincidence of events, you had a sunstorm and a drift storm happen simultaneously while you guys were connected. You merged together into one ship and crash landed through all the planes of existence, or at least a lot of them, and ended up in hell. You Wizard of Oz a devil sister there, and now have made enemies with a very powerful devil of hell. And in the last moments, as we're able to figure out how to operate this new engine, this signal chaos engine that you have on your ship, that just launches you to random places in the metaverse, and where we ended the opening episodes were you pushing that button to get out of hell, and we didn't know where you ended up. And so that's where we're starting. And this is what I want you guys to do, is really dig in as your characters about trying to figure out where you are, or what happened to you, what the situation is currently, and maybe where you ended up, and what you can do about all this. Like, this is a pretty traumatic event for your characters, and I don't want to just gloss over it as like, oh, well, this happened to us, and now we go about our merry way, So, boom, here, I'll give you a little, like, setup, right?
Yeah.
Once that signal chaos engine is engaged, the Prima Rana leaves hell behind, flying through a tunnel of multicolored light and breaking through planar barriers. One of these planes is the drift, but the ship crashes right through it. The elemental plane of fire, the boneyard, the shadow plane, and more, before finally halting in what appears to be the Galarian system. The red planet Akaton, you know, those of you that are from the Pact Worlds, which I think all of you are except for Subana, would recognize it instantly by visuals. It fills the view screen in the bridge.
and all that, that jump stops, and you find yourself in orbit of Akaton.
We're in Akaton's orbit, huh?
Yeah. Oh, well,
Interesting.
that seems, I would imagine for the group, I would imagine that would feel very good because we're back in the pack worlds now.
Well, let's not imagine. Let's jump in as characters and see, where are you guys? Were you in the drift engine room? You were in the signal chaos room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, because Walter
Sabana
was operating for the bridge, and then Sayun and Raya are down in the cargo bay. Right, so I imagine everybody would reconvene on the bridge.
Yeah,
because that was like
prior to even reconvening.
Sure,
you mentioned trauma, and that reminded me. Raya has a freaking dragon arm right now, and where we ended was terrified at that situation and doesn't know how it happened. Right?
And also, your pirate friends sacrificed themselves so you could escape, if that matters to any of you.
Yeah. That might matter to me later, but in the moment...
This
is me right now, okay? Yeah. I'm really just trying to focus on myself here,
I mean, just imagine that happened to you. You had no idea that you had latent mutation powers. Mm-hmm. You didn't know you were an X-Man. Mm-hmm. And your arm just out of rage shifted and morphed into that of an ice blue-ish dragon or purplish, I think, dragon arm that's oversized and stuff. I think she is absolutely panicking right now. And it would just be Sayun, right, in the cargo bay.
In the cargo bay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's just freaking out. We finish the combat, then we press the button, right, and warp to another.
Wait, didn't we go back to the bridge? We went back to the bridge though, didn't we?
No, not at the end there.
Oh, okay. Okay, we didn't go back to the bridge.
No. Yeah, and so she I don't even know. We did the combat, we killed the person, and then it was very hectic, right? We finished the combat and got smashed through it. I just read through Adaptive Strike, and I don't see anything about it going away automatically. You
have to. Does it say something about you dismissing it?
I mean, it just says that manifesting. Yeah, okay, or dismissing. It's a move action, so you do it, right? You de-manifest it, right?
And plus, when you go up in those mutations or whatever it is, your personality changed. The rage took over, and I would imagine that would affect me almost more than having a dragon arm. Honestly, losing your personality in that moment.
When I think I described it as she kind of almost went feral, you know, just almost mindless, animalistic rage, in the moment of the combat. And so with it all kind of settling down, she kind of looks to Sayun and to her arm, kind of taking breaths and coming back to her actual real brain, and I think Sayun even looked at her and she had just terror in her eyes in the last episode, and she's wide-eyed as though she just had a tornado lift up her whole house without taking her, and just is paralyzed, looking back and forth at the arm, and Sayun is what in the fuck is happening to me?
I'm afraid I do not have answers. This one is a little beyond my scope.
And
Are you okay?
She's I am now. And she starts to flex the hand. She's just trying to make sure it's real. This isn't a nightmare,
right.
Yeah. And I think in the moving of it and everything, she starts to see scales kind of come go back to normal skin and kind of pop in and out. Like her skin is mutating like before her very eyes, and she like closes her eyes for just a second and takes a deep breath and opens them again, kind of almost hoping the nightmare will be gone. And as she does, like the scales slowly start to dissipate and her arm shrinks slowly back to its normal size. And she like is stunned by that and waves her, rolls her fingers and everything back to their normal place, and then looks back at you and is like, "You saw that, right?"
Oh, I could not have missed it.
All right, I'm just making sure that I'm not losing my mind.
You're referring to the draconic arm that sort of grew.
Yes, thank you, Amadea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure that we're on the same page. Because I am not exactly sure what to make of that either.
Well, that bloody makes two of us. And
At
she
the
takes,
very least, it could make for an interesting party trick.
she like looks at you baffled, like, is this motherfucker serious
And
right
like, the
now?
thing is, he's got pure black eyes. You can't see any grin or, he's just staring blankly at you. You have no idea, like, if he's joking or if he's...
and she like stares at you
dig.
like she can't decide whether to be like insulted or if it's a joke or not. And then after like a solid 4 or 5 seconds of just staring at you, she like breaks, just like starts cackling, like laughing wildly at the insanity of everything. Not only the dragon arm, but we went to hell. Like we just killed a devil lady in hell on accident and had to pour it out, and these pirates attacked us, and then they went and sacrificed themselves for us. Like it whiplash back and forth, and she just kind of loses it for a minute and starts like cackling to the point that like tears are like flowing out, both of laughter and of fear. And it takes her a minute, and she composes herself, and finally it's just like, all right, well, neither one of us knows what any of this means, but there's nothing to be done for it now. Let's meet up with everyone.
I think that is for the best.
I wonder, Zach, what Sayun is thinking about his own manifestations. I know he's probably keeping that close to his chest, but, is there any insight just into his inner dialogue that might be going on there? I mean, you interacted with the void to the point of being able to manipulate entropy, like
for sure. I think he's still I think he has a better grasp of what is going on sort of due to his past than he... I think he has a better intuitive sense of it than he has, like, worked through it cognitively, actively.
Sure.
And for Sayun, I think, if anything, he is excited about it. But he doesn't want to convey that, especially not when Raya is having a fucking emotional crisis about it.
Sure, yeah.
He wouldn't think that this is an appropriate time to be like, I'm actually really stoked on this.
Right. That's why I asked for your inner dialogue, because I knew there was something going on there.
Yeah. But he is very curious to see if this is because he doesn't know what's happening with anybody else. He knows what's happening with him. He has seen that there's something happening with Raya, but it's very different than what is happening internally with him. So I think, would be...
Something also to consider is that nobody else on the ship saw any of it, of you guys, like, manifesting those powers. Because they were all on the bridge. And so, like, none of them know that. I just wanted to keep that on the forefront of your mind. Let's move over to Gil and Sue, Gilderon and Subana.
We're going to go with Gil and Sue for now. You guys are in the engine room, and the kind of madness of the chaos travel settles, and you guys can intuit that you've landed wherever you're landed. How are you guys feeling about some of the, Gilderon, yours is manifesting like in a very outward, all over your body kind of way, and Subana, yours is manifesting more in that you are being able to see a couple steps ahead and a couple steps behind. You're
not so visibly, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. I think currently he's not really focused on that because he doesn't really know where they are right now because he's in the engine room.
Right.
And that's more important to you.
That's more important because he is praying, that they're back on the material plane and this
praying
is all
to who?
over. Praying to Desna.
Oh, Desna. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And praise. What?
Go ahead.
Praise Desna. Oh, at least we got it off the ground. We need to figure out where we are.
Gildy, are you okay? Are you okay?
When Gil says praise Desna, the color patterns on his skin, like you almost think for a second that they like intensify for half a second, and then they like go back to the regular like modeled look,
And Subana picks up on this immediately, and she thinks it's just the color palette of the new form of the drift engine that's cascading its colors on him, but realizes no, it's actually his skin that's actually giving this whole chameleon kind of like change. And she just kind of, she's addressing him, but she kind of kneels down, just trying to meet eye level with him, and it's like, and just kind of like puts a shoulder trying to ground him to reality. It's like, Gildy, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Are you feeling fine?
I've just been introduced to a lot of different drift-based energies. I'm sure it'll be fine.
You and me both.
I feel. Interestingly, I feel a lot more stable in my body, and I don't know. It feels good.
That's good. That's good to hear. Now I don't know where we are. And she's internalizing the visions that she saw of her crashing through planes, but for the moment, and she's just kind of like trying to prioritize what's important right now. Health, then see if everybody else is okay. So she is going to reach into her comms, and she's just going to say, all right, let's do a head count. Everybody okay?
Saiyan will answer the comms and say, Subana, where are you right now?
We're in the drift engine. Not in it, but near it.
You're in the computer?
I feel I have to be a bit more clear on that just because of what's been going on, but...
Given the nature of recent events, I understand your specificity. Raya and I are on the way. We've had an interesting development.
Likewise here, Shug. Where you want to meet?
We'll come to you. And so, Sayun would be... I don't know if Raya's, chill enough at this point where she's like...
Yeah. She's got it together. She had to get it past some initial shock.
Yeah. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
But is now, wanting the comfort of being around everybody, and it's like, let's please, let's meet up with everyone.
Right.
Before you guys get there, so while Subana and Gil are waiting on you guys to come, out of I don't know, somewhere in Gil's body, Gil, you'll have to tell me, a a little hologram, like, detaches from Gil's body. Is that like in your shoulder, in the back of your neck?
I figured it'd be like at the base of my head, back of my neck.
Yeah, so like, all right, so
right out your butthole.
So Sue, you as you're looking at Gil and kind of still a little fascinated by all the color patterns, you see like over the top of Gil's head, kind of parting through his hair, this little claw kind of like parts the hair like some reeds, in a swamp or in a jungle, and sticking through, you see this like little, I don't know, kind of like gremlin looking face, and with some wings. It's like a tiny little pixie, but with like a gremlin kind of head, like long pointy ears and a big mouth of sharp teeth and some wings that are kind of like, they got some holes in it or whatever. And it comes out and just kind of plops right on top of Gilderon's head, so its feet kind of hanging out over the forehead, and he says, "This little creature says, well, Gild, you're looking pretty sharp. I gotta say, I like the new look on you." And then he looks down at himself, and he used to be kind of like a pale, flesh-colored little imp fairy. But now he's like gold and silver.
Oh, okay.
As if like the same gold and silver that you find in like tooth fillings.
Okay. All right.
And caps,
Okay. Question.
It's a diamond-plated gremlin.
Would this creature have been something that the rest of the party have been aware of before just now?
I'll let Dustin answer that question.
I think Gil doesn't really have much control over this hollow pet that he's had his pretty much entire life, and he comes and goes as he pleases.
Okay.
So I think that he's just been chilling out because it's been boring.
Yeah, so we'll say that you haven't seen this hologram before, because there was nothing for. Yeah, he was bored, and so he was just kind of staying out of sight, But now something interesting is happening, and he's out.
I think initially, I say to Subana, just like, don't be alarmed. It's just Toof. It's just Toof. And
yeah, I'm Toof. Yeah, I'm Toof. It's pleasure to meet you. Right. So, and he sticks out like a little hand to shake your hand.
And she's just kind of like, really just kind of still processing, like, just the dot over her head, so to speak. And she's just almost as a reaction, like, okay, well, it's offering its hand for a handshake, and she just offers her finger,
Yeah, and like it's a hologram, so it just kind of like wraps around your finger, but you don't feel any pressure or anything, and it's a really weird sensation. So, all right, yeah, pleased to meet you. As I said, I'm Toof. What's your name? You're the one they call Sue, right? I feel like I've heard that in the back of his head right?
Yeah, I'm Sue.
Sue,
I gotta say,
can I see your teeth? Can you smile for me? I've never seen like a big like Vesk razor sharp teeth before. You got any loose ones?
And just real quick as an aside, she just kind of like asks Gildy, is like, has Tooth socialized with many people? Because that seems a bit. Well, I'm just gonna put it plainly. That's a little weird.
Oh no, it's fair. That is weird. I get that a lot.
I mean, that's par for the course, really. I mean, Toof's been with me since I was a little gnome. Older than you, probably.
Okay.
Watched all his baby teeth come and go, and then the other row of baby teeth that came and go, and then a couple of the adult ones that got knocked out too, right? Well, I'm sorry, Miles.
Do you think now's the time to kind of pop out and have a conversation while we're dealing with this shit?
Of course, now's the time. Look at what's happened to you. Finally, something interesting has happened. You'd think with a big science research festival, something interesting would happen, but no. It's just been books and research until the most recent attack, and so I'm excited to be out, really.
Well, I can't help it. You're an idiot.
I can't help it either. I was
No, you got me
programmed this
there.
way.
You got me
Sorry.
there. But I do say you're looking sharp. You're looking sharp. You must
too.
have been affected by the energies as well.
Yeah, something felt weird. That's for sure.
But could you do me a small little favor, Toof?
What you need, pal?
Can you just go back to your home for just a little bit longer? And just
All right.
we can
I'm not-
have introductions when we're
No,
at the
it's fair.
beacon.
Can I
We're away
just
from
sit
this
on your
office.
head? Because I just want to see everything.
Yes.
All right, I won't say a word. I promise. And he does the little zipper his mouth shut and lock the key, and then he opens his mouth to swallow the key. He's like, oh wait, that didn't work. But yeah, he just sits perched on your little head. But he doesn't talk anymore. About that time,
Heath was about to say, how dare you have Tooth go away before we get to the room?
right. So Raya and saying step in at this point.
Yes, I think that we need to have something of a conversation about our current situation.
Raya grabs your arm, Sayun, and is like, all right, I know this is probably already getting old, but do you see the thing on his head, or is that just me?
Oh, that is that's his hollow
Yes,
pet.
yes. You've never seen a hollow pet before? Here he is. It's Toof. He comes and goes as he
Toof.
pleases.
That's
I have no control over him. He's hanging out. He promises not to talk, but
And he
promises don't go very far.
gives a salute to you guys.
He's friendly.
Thank
Ish.
Iomade. I was making sure I wasn't imagining it. It's been an odd day. And she lets go of Sayun's arm, realizing, kind of nervously, oh, I'm still holding your arm, you know?
it has been the most oddest of days for me. I think we should probably have a little powwow and figure out what the hell is going on.
Yes, that is what I was getting at. As we can all see, and he's looking to Raya and to Subana when he says this, and he kind of gestures with his both of his upper hands at Gil. As you can see, this interaction has caused some sort of change in Gil's physiology, and I have to admit that I witnessed something quite interesting with Raya's as well.
Oh, what do you mean?
Raya, would you like to explain, or shall I?
And she puts her hands over her eyes, stressed out, you know, and it's just oh shit, they're never gonna believe this.
Don't keep us in suspense.
And she's like, oh, all right, give me a second. And she closes her eyes and tries to tap into it, you know? And it takes her a minute, but then you start to see purplish blue scales kind of popping up on her arms and stuff. But this time she grows a 8-foot long tail and has no control over it, you know, but is trying to tap into whatever that force was, and a tail grows rapidly, insanely quickly from her, you know, back area, and kind of wriggles around her leg and starts whipping and stuff. Yes, her beauty. And she's like, "Oh, son of a bitch! That's not what I meant to do. But you see, that's not normal, right?"
That is a rather interesting development.
How do you feel? Does it hurt? And you could just do this?
I mean, I don't know how.
Okay, so
Okay. It's time we all just kind of open up about what happened when the chaos sails and our drift engines combined, and we were hurtled through the drift, because I know, for one, that I had a harrowing experience. It felt like energies were just pulsing through me, and my being was almost so thin that I was about to disappear, and then it felt like divine intervention on my part. I'm rather certain I would have perished, but I can't grow a tail or anything like that. As far as I know, I just am colorful.
You are indeed.
You're quite colorful.
A great
Yes.
deal more colorful than before.
Very vibrant.
Yes, and I feel a lot better now. Like, I can almost
my own
sense
part.
where we are
you
in
s-
space.
You see, like, Tooth just rocking back and forth, like biting his lips and tongue, you know, like.
I mean, the color is back in your cheeks would be an understatement. That'd be for sure.
That's for sure. If my parents could see me now, I don't know what they would think. They'd probably throw me a party.
You look like a party. That being said, well, I don't have enough information I'm not detecting any visible changes that I can't. I mean, I already have a tail, so I'm not growing another tail. That would be weird. And looks at her like, you know, her scales, you know, the ruddy brownish green, just gonna. I mean, I look the same, and kind of like looking down, just kind of assessing herself, you know. All I can tell you is when we got the engine fixed, there were some visions. And again, I don't have enough information to process this, but all I can say is that I saw various different planes that we crashed through, just from my own experience, education, as far as, you know. But like, saw environments of, like, I know one of them was drift, because, you know, hey, we've all been there. But other than that, I mean, there's these other, you know, planes that I'm not all too familiar with. Now, aside, I know, like, you know, boneyards and stuff like that, but how would she know what the boneyard looks like, you know, and stuff like that?
Sure.
So, but I imagine just because there's not any more hullabaloo that we are out of hell. But other than that, I seem to have escaped fairly unchanged for the most part. In other words, this is going to be developed later. Okay.
Okay, but you did have a thing happen to you.
Yeah,
know.
but she has no information to be able to determine whether that is from the drift engine itself or from, you know, that's personal. That's something that she has to discover.
So you have not experienced any strange feelings, either physiological or mental?
That seems to be an understatement considering all of our conditions. I bet you could ask anybody here on this ship right now if whether or not they've experienced any kind of mental distress or any kinds of changes. I mean, we did just merge what from my own educated guess, merge from the maelstrom and adrift. I mean, this is a whole new ship. I mean, some things just, I don't know. Not with any level of certainty that me as a scientist could make to approximate.
Well, as far as, like, anecdotal feelings, like what happened when we crashed? Did you feel anything? Did you?
As far as that, I mean, so, well, now that you bring it up, there was a moment where as with everything going on, I was at a loss of what was in front of me, and I managed to somehow see myself and working on this machine, which I somehow know now is a signal chaos engine. Don't tell me how I know that, but I saw myself going through the steps of using it, and I just followed. I just followed exactly what the steps I envisioned. I saw, and well, it worked.
Interesting. Sort of a temporal disconnect, if you will.
There was definitely something going on temporally. And again,
temporally.
I don't know whether that is a direct result of interacting with this machine, whether our interaction going through from the plane of hell to the plane of, from the drift plane to the plane of hell, or anything that happened. I don't have enough data to quantify that as a certainty.
Well, you are a woman of science, Subhana. I understand. For my own part, I will say that similar to Raya, whose transformation occurred under duress, when we were fighting the devils in the cargo bay, I found myself able to touch negative energy within myself. I'm having trouble articulating exactly what I mean, but I was able to store and channel that energy. I don't know how useful that will be in terms of figuring out what has happened here, but I think that with some development, it could come in quite handy, actually. However, I am curious if we were the only ones who've experienced such a change, given that our ship and the pirate's vessel merged as well, and the four of us seem to have acquired some sort of new abilities. Do you think the rest of the crew may have experienced something similar?
It wouldn't be the most wild theory to conclude.
Seems like we have more data points to collect to figure this out.
I mean,
we're capable scientists.
If it could happen to multiple of us, then who's to say that it couldn't happen with anyone in the crew? You know,
Walter's gonna have
Here-
wings.
Flying
we'll need to
walrus.
be quite strong.
I would like to be somewhat cagey about it. I am not so keen on spilling the beans to the entire crew immediately. I would like to perhaps ask some probing questions instead.
Yeah,
Well, in
you-
my case, I believe the beans have already been spilled.
That's a great
and
point.
Seyun's lower left hand comes up and scratches his chin under his mask, and he's like, you do present an interesting case.
And not only that, but, well, as far as we can conclude right now, Raya doesn't have full control of this tail situation.
It's not a tail situation. It's more than that. Like, did the rest of you, like, just taking a step back, when the thing happened, when the ship merged, it was like a moment outside of time and space. Like, I had, for lack of a better term, a vision of sorts, but more like based on feel. Like, I saw my own body rapidly mutating, changing. Parts of me froze and turned to ice, but every bit of it was draconic. It was like every part of me morphed into the equivalent part of a dragon, but none of them at the same time. Like, my arm would change, then it would change back, and then my face would turn into the maw of a dragon. I thought it was just a fever dream. But this is real. This is actually happening, and I'm just a student and a researcher.
Raya, we have time to figure this out, and we are going to get to the bottom of this for each of us.
Thank you, but to Seiyun's point, I'm a little nervous, and I may be a bit biased as well, about being too open with the rest of the crew about this. I mean, I might scare them. They might think I'm a freak.
Shug, with everything that's been going on, I'm pretty sure there might be. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, but at the same time, I think that we have enough people here that might be accepting of it. And with everything that's going on right now, we're just postulating that they're not all, every color in the spectrum, and they're not also, turning into dragons and whatnot. So let's just be flexible here. Let's not be absolute with anything. I agree with you, Seiyun, that we should probably keep it mum until we have more information. But if something does happen, we have to be ready to clarify the situation so it doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to cause a panic with the rest of the crew, because I'm having a really hard time not causing a panic within myself right now.
I understand.
But we do need to find the rest of the crew. These are people we work with and care about now. We don't even know if they're all okay.
Well, from what I understand is we got the triage that was set up in the bridge, and well, hell, we need to find out where. Well, we need to find out where we are, and that's not hell. But yeah,
hopefully, hopefully it didn't just reroute back to hell.
Let us go and see if we can find some answers.
Hell is a roundabout.
With that, I think Sam will be trying to push the party to
the bridge.
Yeah,
let's go.
Bridge.
Yeah. All right. So you guys make your way to the bridge, and you see the pirate technician, the pirate doctor, and then your crew as well. So there's Lenny, the Verthani. There's Tahir, the Kasatha doctor. There's Jamila, who's kind of like your sage, kind of just counselor kind of role. Then you have Angela, who is your media handler. And then you have Walter, of course, who's kind of like your ship steward, And they're all there, Walter has a bandage wrapped around his forehead, and there's like a little piece of it. One of his tusks is broken.
And 14-foot wide wings.
No wings.
Not yet.
So yeah, you see your whole crew there in various stage of like being mended, but everybody looks okay. You know, like, and the technician pirate's like, so where's Captain Cobalt and the rest? They like ran out of here and then we just jumped off. Surely they're back in the bridge or in the cargo bay where you all were, yeah?
They valiantly defended our escape.
It's they bravely sacrificed themselves so that we could escape hell.
All right. Well, that kind of sucks for us, though. They were our friends,
I agree.
They didn't tell us that they were doing that, and so now we are here. Maybe now with disfavor with Bismara, but that's really not your problem, I guess. It's just another shitty day for old Carl, I suppose.
Carl, you're alive, and it's you have another chance to revere and pirate and do things for your god, and it's just your chance to be alive. And so,
Although I would like to humbly request that you refrain from piracy aboard this vessel.
No, right.
for
You
the
made that
foreseeable
point
future.
when I got knocked out by the butt of your gun there. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Okay.
I will
I'm
say
glad-
that tooth went back into your neck when you guys walked into here.
I thought you were saying that as the pirate. So, oh look, Tooth went back in your head. So how do you know Tooth?
Yeah, and Angela's like, oh, okay. Thank you, Carl, for that, and we'll make sure that, you know, a proper Besmarian memorial or whatever is done. Team, what's happening? Where are we? That looks like Akaton over there. Like, and she points out the window, and you see the shape of Akaton's planet, the red planet. You know.
oh,
Well,
my
that's
gods,
Yeah.
we're back in the material plane.
And
Perhaps
well,
we
let's
can
just
land and
let's check on some things. I imagine Subana would go to one of the science stations nearby, since we're on the bridge, to verify that.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
you don't even need a roll for that, right? You're just gonna like kind of check the navigational.
right, environmental
Beacons.
scanners, external scanners, yada
Kind of do
yada.
a quick planet scan, maybe of the internet's all that. Okay,
Right.
Well, when you do that, first thing that stands out to you is when you scan the beacon that's here. It's referring to the planet below as Galarian 3, not Akaton. And as you continue to dig into, you know, kind of picking up like radio chatter on the planet and all that kind of stuff, you hear that everybody is speaking in Vesk. Not a single word of common anywhere. And so that is unsettling to you, as you would know that typically this planet is called Akaton, not Galarian 3, and that they speak Common and Akatonian.
Right.
Nobody's speaking any Akatonian or Common. It is all Vesk language.
Okay. Well, there's good news and no, there's really just bad news, folks. Y'all, this is the material plane, but it doesn't seem to be our timeline.
Are
what
we in
else?
a
you
jumper
mean by that?
situation?
Maybe. Look, all I can tell you is that out of all the communications I'm getting, it's not common, not Akatonian. That is not Akaton. Apparently, it is designated as Vesk. It is designated as Galarian 3, and everybody's speaking Vesk.
And they all kind of look at you as the only Vesk on board, and they're like, and Angela's like, oh, okay, what does that mean?
Well,
And also, did we just like jump through planes from hell? Did that just happen?
so you saw that too?
Well, yes, of course. And there was a giant devil commander woman who threatened to kill us all. Should we be worried about that? Are they chasing us? I mean, like, I'm trying to keep it cool here, and like, I understand we're all in this together, but you guys are the scientists, you know, and what you're saying is a little difficult to process given everything that's happened.
Well, look, first of all, yes, we did end up in hell, and fortunately got away from hell. Now
Thank goodness for that.
Yes,
Truly. Thank
agreed.
you.
But now that is unusual, right? It's planar travel is not particularly common. However, we know the other planes exist, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. But if I very much hesitate to jump the gun and say that we've time traveled, because Galarian 3 could just be a labeling issue, right? But if everyone's speaking Vesk, maybe we just picked up on there's some kind of holiday or something. And she's like kind of spiraling, and it's like, but if time travel is what we're really going with here, or alternate timelines, then we have much, much, much bigger problems than a pissed off devil. Okay,
I understand. There are scales of problems. They all sound pretty intense. While you're Subhana, can you check what year it is? Is that something you can do on that little computer there?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you do that, and it's the present year. It's the year that you think it is. You know. Mm-hmm. It's referencing, today's newsreel is the date of like maybe the next day,
right?
From when you had the crash. You know what I mean?
Right.
Same year, same month, same week. Just maybe a few hours past. 24 to 48 hours.
All the readings that I'm getting right now, it's today. It's today. The day that before everything that happened, it's the same day, same year, everything.
Okay.
Can we connect to? Sorry to interrupt, but can we connect to any kind of? What's the internet called?
The infosphere.
Yeah. Can we connect to the infosphere? We need to see what's going on. If there's even a smallest possibility that we're in a different timeline, I'm sure we'd be able to pick up that pretty fast.
Oh, duh! Just immediately just doesn't think
Starfinderpedia, recent Akatonian history, or a Galarian 3 history.
Has the Wi-Fi password changed?
No,
I can't seem to log on.
I can't do it. You have to do it in Vesk now.
Right. That's why.
No. On your ship, it's your passwords and your logins work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you do see, just like a cursory look at like the general overview, that it's basically the Veskarium has taken over what you knew as the Pact Worlds many, many years ago. Like, this has long time been Vesk territory based on, like, if you're just doing, it's not like you can say, am I in an alternate timeline and anything come up, right? Like, that would like take you to a bunch of like
crazy conspiracy
Dark side of
theories.
YouTube.
Crazy conspiracy theorists that couldn't
So-
possibly be correct.
I think I have a way to figure this out and to solve another issue that's immediately coming to play because, like, as Gilderon has mentioned, I mean, like, hey, we need to find some way to establish, like, our timeline that doesn't spiral you into, conspiracy. And that is that she wants to try to reach out to her family. Would she be able to do that, or would that be one of those things that, like, oh, you can only send a pre-recorded message and it takes time?
Well, your family's in the Veskarium, right?
No.
It's like in another star system, right?
No. They are in Absalom. On Absalom
but
Station.
they're not in Acton, so
Correct.
it would
They
be
are not in
like- it would
Akaton.
be-
That's why I was wondering
it would
about
take time.
messaging. So it would take time. Okay.
Yeah.
Then never mind then.
But you look them up. Well, you look them up,
yes.
right?
Okay. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
So you look up your husband's. You type your name in.
Yeah.
And something comes up, but there's no record of being married,
Okay.
no record of your children.
Okay.
So you type in your husband's name, and your husband comes up as like a high-ranking official at like Vesk 4, we'll say.
Okay.
Well, one
Okay.
of the Veskarian planets, like
Right.
not on Absalom Station.
Right.
Like they are
Right.
in the Veskarium.
Right. Well, looking at the infosphere and just like seeing the banner of like Army of Veskarium up on the top, I'd imagine like on every page it'd be, and just like, well, the registry here is, y'all, yeah, and she's kind of distraught about this, but she's trying to convey it the best she can.
As you do that, your sensors detect a ship approaching. And so you're like, okay, well, there's a ship, and you kind of
Right.
guide the ship to look to where it's approaching, and you see a ship that looks exactly like the Marana before it merged, approaching you.
Okay.
They hail your communications, and as you scan the ship before you open communications, you reveal it to be a Kevillari venture named the Marana.
Oh, skitter shit. We are not. We're broadcasted, aren't we? That people know we're here.
I mean, they see your ship.
Well, yeah,
You know?
but like ships can run dark. You know what I'm saying? And we're not running dark. In other words,
No. So yeah, at this point, the communication's like, hey, you're being hailed by this other Marana ship.
And do any of the rest of us see that this is
Yeah,
the
you guys are
Marana?
all in the bridge, and like, if you remember, the whole nose of the bridge is transparent, so like you can actually see it. It's not even on like a view screen, like you're literally looking at the ship.
We have to get out of here. I mean, if they board us and find, we will just be curiosities for this new Vesk empire. We have to go. We can't let them catch us.
it's too late. It's too late. Yeah. So, first off, sideline. Does anybody want to answer this? Otherwise, I will. But I just figured this would be a golden opportunity for somebody, like, to if they wanted to. Okay. All right.
I mean, you're the only Vesk.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Sitting there going like,
That's a good point. That is a good point. Sorry, overthinking it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is the Pre-Marana.
Okay, so you open communications.
Yeah. Opening
all right,
hail
so you do
frequency.
that.
Yeah.
Boom! Up on your display screen comes the bridge of their ship. Right, so you can see them. It's the Star Trek style communication.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And what you see, surprising you all, is what looks like yourselves.
Yeah.
All standing on the bridge, looking at you, and we'll see you.
I fucking knew it.
Yep. It's one of those. We're in the MCU.
definitely in an alternate time. No question.
I don't want you
listening to the STF Network. If you want to hear more from us, check out our other Starfinder and Pathfinder shows at the STFnetwork.com. That's the STFnetwork.com. And support us on Patreon to listen to our bonus podcast, including our homebrew adventures and Tom Talks, our behind-the-scenes show. Stay groovy, possums.